In a quiet Arizona town where tumbleweeds drifted across faded roads, the sun scorched everything it touched. Just outside the town center sat a weathered gas station, its sign barely hanging on. Inside the garage bay, 8-year-old Harper knelt beside an old pickup truck. Her ponytail was tucked into a baseball cap, and her overalls were 2 sizes too big, stained with grease. She held a wrench in hands that should have been holding crayons. But Harper was no ordinary girl. She had grown up to the rhythm of engines. Beside her father, who now lay sick in bed behind the office wall. Asterisk. Her dad, once the town's go-to mechanic, had been down with pneumonia for weeks. Business had stopped. Bills had piled up. Most people stopped coming by. But Harper refused to let the place go quiet. She remembered everything her father had shown her: how to trace a vacuum leak with your ears, how to adjust spark plugs by feel, how an engine had a heartbeat. So, while other kids played or swam, Harper was in the shop tinkering. That morning, she was adjusting the fuel line on the old truck when a deep, purring engine rolled to a stop outside. Asterisk, a black Rolls-Royce Phantom, pristine, shiny, completely out of place in this dusty corner of Arizona, sat idling in front of the station. The driver, a tall man in an ivory suit and sunglasses, stepped out, scowling. The car had overheated in the middle of nowhere. He called out, "Hello?" No response. The place seemed deserted. He walked inside the office, then heard the sound of metal clinking behind the building. Curious and annoyed, he followed it. Rounding the corner, he paused. There, beside an open toolbox, was a child covered in grease, looking up at him calmly. Asterisk. "Where's the mechanic?" he asked, almost laughing. "He's my dad," Harper replied, wiping her cheek. "He's sick." The man raised an eyebrow. "You work here?" She nodded. "Kinda. I just like fixing things." She noticed the open hood on the rolls and walked over with natural confidence. "Your engine sounds like the alternator's loose." "It's not charging right." He stared, half amused, half irritated. "You got all that from just hearing it?" She shrugged. "Want me to check?" He hesitated, then stepped back. "Knock yourself out." With that, Harper grabbed her flashlight and got to work like she'd done it 100 times. Asterisk, her tiny hands moved with skill that stunned him. She tightened the alternator bracket, checked the serpentine belt, and adjusted the tension with ease. She hummed while she worked. 10 minutes later, she stepped back and wiped her hands. "Try it now." The man climbed into the driver's seat and turned the key. The engine roared to life, smooth, clean, perfect. He blinked, then stepped out slowly, stunned. "You actually fixed it." Harper grinned. "Yep, just needed a little love." He stared at her in disbelief. "What's your name?" "Harper," she said, standing tall. "And I love engines." Asterisk, he smiled, something about her reminding him of his own daughter, long grown. From his pocket, he pulled out a small, gold-embossed business card. "Here," he said, handing it to her gently. "If you ever need anything, you've got talent." Harper accepted the card like it was a golden ticket. She didn't understand who he was, just that he saw her. Without another word, the man got in his car and drove off, the hum of the engine echoing into the desert. Harper stood there, watching until the car disappeared. Then she walked back inside, her heart pounding with possibility. Asterisk, she tucked the card beneath her pillow that night, its corners already bending from being held so tight. Her father never knew about the encounter. Harper didn't want to worry him. She kept working day after day, helping neighbors fix lawnmowers, bikes, and beat-up cars for loose change. She had no idea the man she'd helped was Nathan Halden, CEO of Halden Motors, a billionaire who rarely smiled. But he'd smiled that day. And Harper felt something unlock inside her, as if at one moment had opened a door the world never told her existed. Asterisk, from that day forward, Harper believed anything was possible. Every time she doubted herself, she'd reach under her pillow and read the name on that card. She didn't call it, not yet. But she knew the moment wasn't over. It was waiting for her like an engine idling, ready to race. And somewhere, Nathan Halden was thinking about the little girl with oil on her cheek who turned a broken moment into something unforgettable. Neither of them knew it yet, but their paths would cross again. And next time, the world would be watching. *15. Years later, the air inside the Dallas Convention Center buzzed with excitement. Reporters, engineers, and auto enthusiasts filled the hall, eyes glued to the stage where Harper, now 23, stood beside a revolutionary prototype engine. She wore a simple black blazer over denim, her hair tied back and her eyes clear with confidence. No college, no formal credentials, just years of experience in her father's garage. Her invention, a hybrid engine with 30% more fuel efficiency, had stunned everyone. But as applause thundered, Harper's heart skipped when she saw a familiar figure moving backstage. Tall, gray-haired, and dressed in linen, it was him. He looked older but unchanged. Still sharp-eyed, still composed. In his hand, the same gold card now slightly bent and worn. Harper stared, unable to speak. "I remember you," he said gently, his voice soft but firm. "You fixed my Rolls-Royce in the middle of nowhere. You were 8. I kept this." He added, holding up the card. Harper's eyes widened. "You kept it?" He nodded. "And I've followed you ever since. I watched your first patent application, your early garage YouTube videos, even the magazine article last fall. This engine," he gestured toward the stage, "proves what I always believed." Harper felt emotion rushing like a wave. "My dad passed away last year," she said quietly. "But he taught me everything." The man's expression softened. "Then let me take it from here," he said. "Harper, Halden Motors doesn't want you as a consultant. We want you as our new chief technical officer." Her mouth dropped open. "Wait, what?" she whispered. "I'm only 23. He smiled. "And you've already done more for engine innovation than most do in a lifetime. We need your instincts. We need your fire." For a moment, she forgot the crowd. All she could see was that card. News spread like wildfire. "Girl mechanic turned CTO at 23. Read one headline. She fixed a Rolls-Royce at 8, now she's running the company. Read another. Harper did interviews with national networks, appeared on magazine covers, and was even offered a book deal. But she stayed grounded. Every morning, before heading into Halden Motors headquarters, she'd sit alone with coffee and think of her dad's worn hands, his quiet encouragement, and the sound of tools on metal. Fame didn't faze her. Her dream wasn't about glory, it was about purpose. She wanted to open doors for other kids like her. With her first major check, Harper returned to her hometown. The gas station where it all began stood as dusty as she remembered. The sign still swung loosely in the wind. She didn't hesitate. She bought it outright, repainted the walls, rebuilt the garage, and turned it into the Harper Initiative Training Center where underprivileged youth could learn mechanical skills for free. "This place saved me," she told reporters during the opening. "Now it can save others," parents cried. Kids lined up. And in the corner of the shop, next to her father's old toolbox, sat the same beat-up wrench from that day. Inside her glass office back at Halden Motors, Harper kept no trophies or awards, only things that reminded her of where she came from. On the wall hung a photo of her and her dad covered in grease. Below that, framed in gold leaf, was the worn business card Nathan Halden had given her 15 years ago. The print had faded, but the memory hadn't. Every time she looked at it, She remembered the man who gave her a chance when she was just a little girl with oil on her cheek and fire in her soul. Nathan Halden visited often, now more like a mentor than a CEO. You know, he once said, sipping coffee across from her, I never forgot that moment in Arizona. You reminded me what innovation really looks like, raw, messy, and beautiful. Harper smiled. You reminded me that sometimes all it takes is someone believing in you. Their bond, built on one dusty afternoon and a fixed alternator, had changed the future of the company. Harper's designs were already being tested across global markets, and she had a waiting list of young apprentices eager to learn from her. Years from now, Harper would become a legend in the automotive world. But to her, none of it mattered more than the look on her father's face when she fixed her first engine, or the stunned silence when the Rolls-Royce had roared to life. Life had offered her a single moment of connection, a broken car, a stranger's trust, and a gold card tucked under a pillow. That moment had opened a path, one bolt at a time. Harper hadn't just repaired an engine, she'd rebuilt a future. And every time she turned a wrench, she honored where it all began.